Welcome back to Universe. I'm Andrew, and today I'm playing Apothecaria, solo potion making RPG. I have no idea which session this is, so check the title or the description, and if you want to watch from the beginning of this series, there's a link in the description to a playlist for that. But you're welcome to join me either way. I'm going to be helping out a customer with some kind of ailment. I'm a witch near High Rannoch here in the woods, and I have my familiar here, Fizzy Frog, who can create a sweet carbonated dark water reagent. So we'll see if we can use that, although it does make people sleepy when they drink it. I am an intermediate witch, so let's cure an intermediate ailment. From the intermediate ailments page, let's pull a card and see which ailment we are presented with. That is a 7. 7 says it is a potion poison. It needs magic with 1 potency and poison with 2 to be cured. Timer of 4 is pretty short. Looks like a lot of these have a timer of 4 or 6, so I guess that's not uncommon. It says the afflicted figure, they would trust the fast-talking merchant with the miracle cure rather than come to you. Now they've gone green and their vomit just ran away. And if I don't cure them within that timer of 4 consequences, a strange magical effect will happen. Describe it. Lose 2 reputation. Alright, well I don't want to lose 2 reputation. It's currently at 16. And if I can get that up to 22, I'll become an advanced witch. But no rush for that. We've just been an intermediate for a short while. So let's set my timer to 4. And figure out how we're going to cure magic 1 and poison 2. Alright, so I think I'm going to be going to the Hero's Hollow in order to search for the reagents. But I also want to, of course, see who my customer is. Who is this person who's been poisoned by a potion sold of someone with ill repute? Oh, and you know what? During the spring festival, we participate, or Selwyn participated in a baking contest and won, defeating Artie, who ran the Artie Now food truck. His food truck's probably not doing well anymore, so I wonder if he's resorted to selling bogus potions. And our customer here actually bought a bogus potion from Artie, who's trying to make some money because he lost his food truck business. I say truck, it's probably, food caravan, food wagon, and also spread a bad name for witches and potions in general out of resentment. Regardless, we're gonna have to cure our customer, which the Apothecaria book doesn't really cover, which is why I've got Table Fables 2 specifically here and the NPC generator. So let's make a gender roll, 1 through 4 male, 5 through 8 female, 9, 10 non-binary. That is an 8, so that'll be a lady. Let's roll for her social standing. A D6 of 5 this is another noble. Well, her occupation, I mean, if she's a noble, she probably doesn't work, but a 20 says she's a knight. So this is a noble knight. That works. Let's roll her attitude. Kind of indifferent. Maybe she's just distracted by her vomiting. See if I can find a table. What did she think this potion was gonna do? All right, the original Table Fables has a potions table. Ooh, we got all kinds of variables here. We don't really care how it was labeled or what its appearance was, but maybe just for fun. A 1 says it was a narrow-necked bottle filled with a light green liquid. Taste was cloyingly sweet. Uh-oh. Sweet is our deal. Wonder if Artie is trying to sabotage our business. I mean, we know that he's got it out for us, but he's copying our MO by trying to make sweet potions as well. And the effect that this knight thought it was going to have is a D100. 11 is a potion of hair growth. Causes the consumer's hair to grow at the speed of 1 foot per hour for 1d6 hours. So she's trying to grow some hair. I'm going to roll on this D20 scars table just to see. 3 slender scars run vertically over the lips. That doesn't really speak to hair. Maybe it's across her lips, but also like up all the way down her face and up into her hairline. And she's trying to regrow the hair that's like kind of been removed by the scarring on her head. Not that she can convey that to us right now in the midst of the sickness. Let's roll up a name for her on my syllables chart. So we got 20 is D. 2 means I roll for another syllable. 27 is et. And a 5 plus 1 previous syllable is 6, which means I stop. But the name Diet. Diet's not a very good name. Diet? Alright, maybe her name is Diet. Alright. Daiette, Knight Noble. She wants to regrow hair where she was scarred, but she bought a bad potion from Artie now and needs sickness cured. All right, so we're not curing her hair. We're just getting to know her a little bit better while we try to cure her sickness. Speaking of, I'm thinking we'll go to the Hero's Hollow. And of course, I always want to use the dark water because Fizzy, my frog familiar, is able to secrete the dark water as kind of a free reagent. And it can cure magic at a potency of 2, which is what I need to do. Oh, wait, no, I think the poison was a potency 2. But it causes sleep. So I need to cure sleep if I give her dark water as part of the potion. And nothing in the Hero's Hollow cures sleep. And nothing in any of the other locations cures poison, at least as far as I could tell. So I think out of necessity, because I have to deal with the poison, I have to go to the Hero's Hollow. And because I do have reagents that can cure both magic and poison here, just won't be able to be the dark water, because then, again, I can't deal with the sleep afterward. Which is a bummer, so I like doing the sweets. But I still have honey, and I still have a year's supply of sun sugar from winning the baking contest. So for the poison, I'm going to use a flood bulb. It has the potency of 2. It's a plant. And in the dungeon, it has a foraging value of 6. We are going to the dungeon. Hero's Hollow. It says a simple trap component. Flood bulbs are bulbous blue vegetables that, when burst, create a disproportionate volume of water. Seeds can be crushed for dehydration and poison. So poison is what we need. Forage value of 6 means I'm going to flip a card. I'm hoping to see a 6 or higher. And it is a 3, which means we're going to lose a time without succeeding at finding that reagent. We do get a forage point, but that's not going to help us with such a short timer. And it's also going to trigger an event in the Hero's Hollow at 3. Over here it says you find an ancient looking object, probably dropped by an adventurer who met their end in here. What is the object and what is special about it? According to the rules, I'm free to make up my own, but I prefer to roll randomly. So let's see what Table Fables has for a magic item. What is it? This is an odd looking object. I'm going to roll in this magic items table, and I'm not necessarily going to like claim it as a magic item. Maybe it's broken or something like that, but let's just get some inspiration. So D100 table, so 2 10-sided dice. One is for the tens place. Got a 61. It's actually in the weapons category. It says, I don't know that word, S-E-A-X, a Seax, a Sioux knife with an icy blue blade. Anything touched? Is this a picture? Is that what this thing looks like? Is that like a handheld knife? I don't know. Anything touched by this blade is burned by ice, but the knife has a crippling fear of fire. Maybe now it's like cold to the touch, but most of its magic is worn off. I don't think it is a sapient object, so I'm not going to go with the fear of fire concept, but maybe it's just a slightly cold knife. Not much more to say about that. So I can try again to get Blood Bulb. Need a 6. This is another 3. Timer goes down to 2. Found another object. Let's roll again on the same table. 63. There's actually just 2 more. 61, now 63. A curved dagger that has a small chance of inflicting a random magical effect. Again, I think the magic is kind of gone, so all that's left with is a dagger. I'm going to re-roll that. I just thought maybe I found like an old weapons cache or something. And it could be. It's 2 blades together. I'm just going to roll again. That's 100. Item number 100 is a pair of brass iron knuckles that releases jolts of electricity onto the target. Alright, so we got a lot of weapons that have elemental abilities. So maybe these brass knuckles, again, are dulled in terms of their magic, but maybe they jolt you just a little bit when you touch it, like licking a battery. So we collected a few weapons. I gotta try again. I mean, I think this is my best shot. I have to succeed this time, and I have to then get my other reagent in one shot. So here we go. 5 is not going to cut it. So let's see, what is the event for a 5? You find a rough map of the dungeon lying on the ground. It's got a lot of details wrong, but it does point out the location of a reagent. Ooh, draw a card and treat it as a dungeon reagent of the same value. Interesting. So if I draw a 6, so I needed a 6 or more, but now I get a reagent of the value of the card I draw. So if this card is a 6, I can get a Flood Bulb because that is its dungeon forage value. It does have a lock forage value of 10 and an Isles forage value of 4, but that event specifically said its dungeon value. So it's got to be a 6. But I need a second reagent, which I think was going to be Cold Rust. This is a blue rust that eats its way through ancient magical artifacts, picking up the object's power as it grows. Rust can be crushed for hot and magic, so that was the magic I was going to use. And that is a 2. So if I draw a 2 or a 6, I can use my last time to forage for the other one. If it's not a 2 or a 6, I mean, I guess we'll just have to see what I get, but 7. So 7 would have let me find it if I were still foraging. Yeah, this should have gone up to 3 technically, but doesn't matter. Oh, good news. There was one other reagent that I was choosing between for poison, and it was Crow Coal. So it has a dungeon forage value of 7, so I can actually claim Crow Coal. It says a favorite among corvids who have eaten something foul. Crow Coal is a silvery coal that neutralizes most ingested poisons. Getting it from the crows that guard it isn't easy. Coal can be crushed for dehydration, stomach, and poison. And I'd chosen not to go for this one specifically because 7 is just 1 higher than 6. I figured I had slightly better odds to hit the 6. But in this case, I get a reagent that has a dungeon forage value of 7. Boom. Take Crow Coal. So now that will take care of the poison. I still need to deal with the magic. I could just get Dark Water from Fizzy, but that causes sleep, and I can't cure sleep. I could go to a different location, but that would cost me a time, and I'd be out of time. So I think the best shot at curing the magic portion or getting a reagent that will deal with the magic is that Cold Rust. It has a dungeon value of just 2. So with my last time, as long as this is not an ace, I actually just barely made it, even with 2, kind of 3 fails. Just that event helped me out at the last second. All right, so not an ace, a 9. All right, 9 will succeed at finding Cold Rust. Now, the way the rules are worded, kind of wonky. Technically, I get the reagent and I run out of time and I fail, but I feel like that doesn't make sense. So I know I said in a previous episode in this specific case, it makes sense that on your last time you would actually be able to use the reagent that you foraged. So I'm going to go ahead and call this a success at the last second, but I do have to resolve my event with a 9. And that says, while wandering in the deeper section of the dungeon, you come across a scared looking newbie adventurer. They offer 10 silver for you to lead them out of the dungeon. Decrease the timer by 1 if you do. I mean, technically, it's kind of awkward because I don't have any time to lose, but thematically speaking, like mechanically, like from a rules lawyer perspective, I don't have any time left. I may as well take the 10 silver mechanically, but thematically it doesn't make sense. I'm in a rush. I got to get back and brew this potion. So I'm going to have to decline and hope that they can find their way. Man, I kind of want to know who this person is. Although Selwyn doesn't even have time to stop and get to know them. It says they're a fledgling adventurer, scared looking newbie adventurer. So I just want to see, what does this person look like? Let's get an idea. Their gender. That's a guy. His age could be any age. Well, the D4 table says young, mature, old, or venerable. I might shift that at lit younger. Yeah, it says I rolled 4 for venerable. You know what? I previously met a venerable person. Hiskane Theaf, the 55-year-old page with magnetic thumb, too clumsy to be a knight. He was a squire to his own son, the 35-year-old knight Hizaze Theaf, but I'm pretty sure I successfully cured his magnetic thumb ailment. So maybe in the intervening month or 2, he has kind of graduated from pagedom and is now trying to be an adventurer. Maybe he is a knight. He's doing some kind of quest for the kingdom. And he's like, oh, hey, there's Selwyn. I could use some help. So yeah, I'm going to say I ran into him and unfortunately just had to say sorry and ran off. But it's good to know that he's, up and about. You're never too old to learn. All right, well, at the last second, I was able to cure the ailment. Foraging value didn't really matter. I was not able to use Dark Water, but I do have a beehive. So I get to use that 4 times per season. May as well use it now. So this is my second use for summer. It adds 1 sweet to the potion, which increases the value that I get paid, I think by 4 per sweet point. For intermediate potions, I get paid 30. And I also have the year's supply of sun sugar, so I can use that a second time. That adds 3 sweet points per use. I'm actually adding a total of 4 sweet times 4 silver each is 16 silver plus 30 is 44. All right, so 40, so that's 4 and 40. I can take 20, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. So I got 1, 200, 300. Sure, let's change that out for 100. 343. I know there were things I wanted to buy. Was it the broom? No, I wanted something. It was for 300. Broom is 100. That would let me visit the Cloud Isles. Or was I saving up for something even more expensive? I think I wanted the spare room. Oh no. Spare room costs 500 and your reputation has to be 30. The treatment room. Until you get this, the afflicted are usually left lying on the couch or even worse in your bed. Build a room for them to rest in properly. That will ease their ailment, increase all timers by 3, and gain an extra 10 silver for successful potions. So after 30 cures, we get paid back, which is a bit much, but increase all timers by 3 is pretty good, because as you can see, we're down to the wire, and I'm worried as we get more advanced, it's just the timers are gonna get tighter. It's a little risky there. So I'm gonna buy a treatment room. Let's get that built onto our witch's hut. I'm gonna spend 300, quite a bit. Write that down along with my hive, my little strange home quest that I haven't really made progress on, and magic wand and sun sugar. Now have the treatment room. +3 time, +10 silver. Hopefully you remember that. And yeah, I mentioned the strange home. That's a little quest I got a while back where the demon Senliana, in charge of the other realm called the Strange, which I can access through the Hero's Hollow, thanks to my dark eye of the dungeon. Anyway, Senliana said that she will give me a home in the Strange for only 1,000 silver, discounted by 50 silver every time I bring her readings of the gravitational alignments of our material world that we live in. And having no prejudices against demons, Selwyn was happy to do so. She'll learn that lesson eventually, potentially. But I did do like a montage to end spring where I skipped over some time. I'm going to say that we did that. We visited twice with readings during that montage time. Because I previously only visited the Strange once with readings, and now I'm just going to say that I visited 2 more times in the meanwhile. I thought about going again during this foraging visit, but it just didn't, the reagents didn't match up. So technically we kind of rushed that ailment, which means we can play out the remainder of the week. The rules kind of give you 13 time, or that's maybe the house rule I've been doing. So we spent 4 of that time already, so I kind of have 9 more time to play out the rest of the week. And I'm not too keen on just like hoarding reagents with that time. It feels like awkward metagaming, but I mean, I guess it makes sense that someone would do something during that time. I guess she's probably been working on building that treatment room. Not that she did all the manual labor herself, but she's probably involved somewhat. But I am going to try to cure Bozbata's shattered tooth still. So Bozbata is a big sea monster, and we met up with it at some point and saw that it has an infected tooth, and there's a lot of reagents that go into trying to cure that. We've got most of them at this point, so I just need 3 more reagents that can deal with a potency 2 infection. I'm not going to resolve events for these because I like to just kind of like skip over, get it done, and focus on the real ailments. But with 9 time, let's see if I can get at least 3 things here. Oh, and there's the picture of Bozbata, the giant sea monster of the loch. All right, this slime shell in the meltwater loch has a foraging value of just 4, and it's actually -2 in summer, and it is summer, so it's actually down from 4 to 2. Found in shallow waters and rock pools, these fist-sized clams produce a handy slime that kill parasites and fights infection, keeping the frail mollusk safe and sound. Slime can be added raw for parasite infection and blood. Infection is what we need. It does have the 2 stars for 2 potency, and because its foraging value is only 2, the only misses would be aces, and I've got, again, 9 time, and I'm not going to do anything else with that time. So the only reason to flip is I might hit the jokers, and jokers let me learn about the old witch, but it feels weird to trigger that during like a montage. So I'm actually just going to say that I found the last 3 reagents I needed. And maybe in some of this downtime during the week, I am going to have Selwyn go find Basbata in Meltwater Loch and give it this potion. This is a giant, massive potion, 18 reagents in order to cure that tooth infection. And with Basbata's tooth cured, you actually gain access to the Dreamwater Depths. It says unreachable until Basbata has been cured. And there's really no rules other than that. We did this quest and we can say we have cured Basbata. I wonder if there's some table in here that would kind of give an idea for what that scene might have looked like. Ocean events and encounters. It's not the ocean. I'm worried that's not gonna give me what I want. But let's roll. Maybe we have to take a boat out and look for Basbata in order to administer this cure. Rolled an 8. It says an island is spotted on the horizon. That's not a very exciting event. So I'm going to say that Basbata has been causing problems for a lot of people who go out into the loch. So here on our map, which again, if you watch the series, watch from the beginning, the first episode in the Selwyn's Journey series, is where we start making this map. And over here is the loch, west here, both of High Runnock and our hut. And there's Nenawasti and another town up here where Selwyn's from. But this is where Basbata lives, so it's a kind of a big area to be searching to try to find them to cure them. But I'm going to say that this angry Basbata, this angry sea monster, has been causing a lot of problems. So when we go to a sailor or into the shipyard, actually it would probably be, is that a Gowie? How did I mean for that to be pronounced? Well, that's kind of the fishing villages on the shore here on the coast. So when Selwyn goes there and says, hey, I have a cure that I think is going to make this sea monster calm down, I bet there's at least one captain willing to take us out and look for them for the chance that it would be cured. So let's see what is the name of this ship. We do have this ship names table. We got the Treasured Treasure. The Treasured Treasure. What a name. What type of ship is it? It's actually a battleship full of fresh soldiers. And during the trip, our weather is sunny. So Selwyn convinces a battleship full of fresh soldiers. We're going to go out and we are going to cure Basbata. The sea is sunny. The ocean event and encounter we found was we saw an island on the horizon. And maybe that island turned out to actually just be Basbata's back arched above the water. Maybe it was just floating there kind of in pain. Maybe the sailors knew where to look. They're like, oh yeah, it's always out there just like writhing in pain. And if anybody gets too close to it, it starts to lash out. And maybe there's like certain times of day where it just does move around and actually mess with the ships more, which is why they were excited to get rid of it. But maybe this potion that we brewed for Basbata was actually also very sweet, because that is our MO. In fact, usually we'd use sun sugar at a rate of about 1 to 2 other reagents other than our sweeteners. And with 18 reagents going into this potion, because it's a big sea monster, to keep that ratio, I would need to use 9 uses of my sun sugar. You know what? I'm going to do it. There's no mechanical reason of why I would do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to say that I put a bunch of sun sugar into this so that Basbata would be lured to it and maybe not put up a fight as we go ahead and try to cure its tooth. So now I've got access to the depths. I've cured Diet, the Knight Noble, of her sickness, not of her hair problems. Maybe she'll come to terms with that at some point. Or maybe we'll see her in the future ailment. For now, let's do one more ailment. So I'll flip a card, and it is a 2. 2 on intermediate is... Oh, yeah, intermediate is the Fey Wind. This is a curse 1, mood 2. Favored among certain fairies, the afflicted has been cursed so that their flatulence sounds like laughter or music, physically harmless, but very embarrassing to some. The Fey Wind. All right, let's see who is cursed with Fey Wind. This is a man. Let's see, what do I need to know about him? I'll roll age again. I don't really like this age table. 3 is that he's old. Young, mature, old, or venerable. It's not a lot of options. Social standing seems important. He's a commoner. Maybe I should just roll occupation. 11 is a priest. Okay. Maybe when he's trying to proselytize, his flatulence is laughing at him and undermining his message. Do I want to roll in the alignment table for a priest? Yes, but let's see. 7 is chaotic neutral. Doesn't seem like a priestly alignment. Chaotic neutral priest. I mean, not that D&D alignments are the end-all, be-all of morality, but I wonder if this is some kind of anarchic nature priest. Let's see his clothing. If I go in too deep here, he has good quality common clothing. And his attitude, unpleasant. All right, last roll, body type is slender. All right, let's roll a name for this guy. 53 says Lee, 40 says Who, and 6 means we're done. Lihu, sure. Lihu, the slender, chaotic, neutral nature priest, cursed with fairy flatulence. I imagine that he was doing his nature priestly harmonization out in the woods, and we do have an area of woods here, Glimmerwood Grove, where we already know fairies live. So if he has been, maybe he does some of his work in Hyrenic, maybe he spends a lot of time in the woods though, and if he was in the Glimmerwood Grove and he's acting all like surly as his unpleasant disposition might indicate, the fairies could have very much found it funny to curse him in this way. So that makes some sense. All right, curse 1, mood 2. Let's see. And there's no specific timer, so I'm gonna say, I'm not saying anything. It's just the default of 13 time for the week. We've got the whole week to deal with that. I don't think the treatment room helps that because that's just how much time is in a week. So the treatment room would only help, I think, if we actually had a timer set. All right, well, it seems like the easiest, obvious answer here is to get some fairy dust. So fairy dust has a potency of 2. It's magic. Forest forage value of 6. Bog forage value of 3, but I can't actually go to the bog yet. It's one of the 2 locations I still don't have access to. Fairy dust says it's difficult to get straight from the source. Thankfully, the little blighters don't worry too much about cleaning up after themselves. Check toadstools or leave a fairy trap outside. Dust can be added raw for mood and curse. Those are the 2 things I need. So I do need 2 of them though, 1 for mood and 1 for curse. You can't double dip the same reagent. You know, it can cure 2 different things, but you still need enough of it. So I need 2 fairy dusts, and I can add Fizzy's dark water as long as I'm able to cure the sleep. I think I've got time to find a reagent for that. And in fact, in the Glimmerwood Grove, we've got Whispers of the Cat, requires a wand, but I do have a magic wand. I bought one. So that is a forge force value of 6, and that can cure sleep. So I need 6, 6, and a 6. But I've got plenty of time to find it. And if somehow I do run out of time, I don't actually need the Whispers of the Cat. It's just if I can't find the Whispers of the Cat, I cannot add the dark water and make the extra money. Yeah, and dark water adds 3 sweet, so that's 12 silver. All right, so let's get started. Yeah, we're heading right back to Glimmerwood Grove, right where this guy got his curse. We're going back and collect fairy dust, perhaps from the very same fairies who cursed him. First card is a 2. Getting all the 2s. What are 2, 2, 9, 7, 5, 3, 3, 7, king. I started with the king in the discard pile from previously, but yeah, that's a lot of 2s and 3s. Anyway, let's see what a 2 is in Glimmerwood Grove. So the group of thieving fairies. Grab your forage basket and take off into the woods faster than you can run. Luckily, they drop one of the ingredients you've collected. Choose 1 and discard the rest. All right, well, I haven't collected anything. So I guess they take our basket, but maybe Selwyn can just use her hat. So I lose 1 time, but nothing else. Technically, my forage value does go up by 1. Next card is a jack. Jack is going to be a value of 10, which is higher than 6, so we will have 1 fairy dust so far. Let's check the Jack event and spend 1 time for that. Jack says you find yourself in a beautiful courtyard of azure bricks, hanging moss, and a golden throne upon which sits an amused-looking elf. They ask for a gift in exchange for a story. Do you give them a gift? What do you give? What do they tell you? Every time you get this result, write about your relationship with the noble elf. Oh, because they're on a golden throne. do we give them a gift? What do I have?
Yes, gifts. I give you in return air from my lungs.
Oh, wow, I just happened to glance at... Well, I didn't happen to glance. I'm looking for something I can give. I forgot. I've got an inventory. I have crow coal from a previous thing that happened. I do have one reagent stored up, and that is a crow coal. This could have cured poison. I could have used that. Fortunately, I was able to succeed anyway at the previous ailment, but yeah, I actually have this crow coal in reserve, which can deal with dehydration, stomach, or poison. So I would not have felt distressed if I had remembered that. Is there anything else? I found a leather cord at the shore. That's kind of useless. Found a well-worn book in an unfamiliar language, but he's probably not carrying that around with me. I did write this note. Why is Selwyn's hat so important to her? And I wonder if the hat is the gift? But if it is, what am I going to do about this picture going forward if we give it to this elf? I mean, that's kind of her look at this point. But maybe I need to know why it's special, because if it's special for a reason that would mean it makes sense as a gift, then maybe we would need to give it. I don't know if the logic on that makes sense. I mean, we also just found those weapons. Technically that was like a week ago, but maybe she carries them because they are technically useful weapons if she gets into a scrape. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to say she gives him the brass knuckles. Maybe he likes the lightning powers in there. So sure, that'll be the gift. Here you are. What is the gender of this elf? 6 is female. I think most of the people in power we've met are ladies or women. We've got Maya Dark Eye, Senliana, and now this elf. What is her attitude? I kind of assumed she would be kind of playful, but 6 says she's hostile. What did the prompt say? Maybe they're mad. It doesn't say anything about their demeanor. It just says they ask for a gift in exchange for a story. So maybe the fact that I found them is what's making them mad. Otherwise, why would they ask for a gift in exchange for a story and be mad about it? Normally, I would think that's like a playful thing to do. But maybe it's like their obligation. That if any mortal finds them, they have to offer this exchange. And they're mad that I've actually found them and invoked this. Not intentionally, but nonetheless. So they have to accept the gift. That's what I'm making that up. Maybe the story is commensurate with the gift, but Selwyn doesn't even necessarily know the value of the gift. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a dull magic item, so maybe it's not that valuable, but maybe it secretly is valuable. So let's see what kind of story they tell her. I guess I also want to know their clothing. It's good quality common clothing, but they're sitting on a throne, so maybe it's common for an elf. All right, for my story, I've arbitrarily chosen that I'm going to roll on this notabilities and peculiarities table, and also on a town events and encounters table, and see if I can make up a story from that. So this is a D100. 87 says legend. The dungeon is supposedly home to a legendary monster. Okay, and then combine that with a... Oh, here. D20 history. No, let's do city events and encounters. 17. Child approaches the party and asks for help retrieving his ball, which has gotten stuck on top of the tavern roof. No? What does that have to do with a monster in a dungeon? All right, I'm going to roll on a tarot card table. Even though I don't know tarot cards. It says the pillar depicts a temple with many pillars. The archetype of strength and stability. This card often indicates radical change, such as the loss of a pillar of strength in one's life. So maybe instead of the child asking the party for help, the child asked someone who was a pillar of strength in their life for help. And instead of asking for them to retrieve a ball from on top of a roof, maybe it's the child asking a parent to retrieve a toy from some kind of cave that it had fallen into. So the parent goes down into a dungeon of sorts and encounters a monster. The parent never returns, and therefore the child has lost a pillar of strength, which is a tragedy for the child and also a catalyst for their future. And that's all the elf tells in their story. Is that important? Is it good? Is it worthwhile? Maybe not, but neither was the gift we gave, perhaps. So I'm gonna call that event resolved, and I need another fairy dust. Let's flip again. Got a 6 exactly. 6 is what I needed. So that's 2 fairy dust down. I think technically this goes away once I've found one. Oh, and I think I've lost 2 more time. A 6 as you wander too near a bear's den. You hear the mother's roar and are chased through the woods until you lose her and your way. Lose 2 foraging points and gain none this turn. All right, well, I don't need foraging points because I got the reagent. So we run from a bear. And I got time to get Whispers of a Cat, so I need another 6. Got an 8. So we got everything we need. Says, without realizing it, you've wandered into Weaver's Wood, the domain of the giant spiders. You can hear them whispering to each other about how best to eat you. How do you escape? Decrease the timer by 1. So I'll knock it down by 2. One's for normal and one's for this event. How do I get away from the spiders? Maybe this icy knife can cut through their webbing. A wave of the wand, or maybe the mother bear is still chasing and wanders in and takes out a couple spiders before we all go our separate ways. So we heard a story from an elf, ran away from a bear, got away from the spiders, and got all the reagents we needed to cure the Fey Wind for this priest, Lihu, with plenty of time to spare. Again, I could spend that time on something, cash up some more reagents, which technically I really should do, but just kind of feels weird to do it. So I'm going to say Selwyn is lazy in her downtime, or you know what, maybe she's studying. She's not lazy, or she's also taking gravity measurements for next time she visits the Strange. I do get paid for that, so since I got the Cat's Whisper, I can add Fizzy's Dark Water, so that is 12, or 3 sweet points for 12 silver. Of course, as long as I have it available, may as well add honey and sun sugar for a total of 4 more sweet points. That's a total of 7 times 4 silver each is 28, plus the base of 30 is 58. Oh, plus because Lihu got to rest in our treatment room, plus 10 more, that's 68. That is a nice payout. Or I'll trade this 50 for 50, and then there's 50 for 100. We're already back up over 100, plus 8 more, 10 minus 2. And I forgot to gain reputation on the previous ailment, plus for this one, so 16 goes to 17, and then 18. Again, I think it's 22 will go up to the next tier of witch, although I don't know if we're ready for it. I could use some more things. But we cured Bosbata, so that's a nice big story update. Met a couple more people who needed our help. Hopefully we'll get back into the Strange at some point and continue whatever is going on with Senliana, her machinations, figure out what my Dark Eye is up to. I've heard friendship is truly genuine, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe so we don't get eaten by spiders, and bye.